Today's guest is a certified mindset coach providing people with tools and guidance to help them free themselves from their minds and find their inner strengths. Welcome to the show, Grace. How are you doing?
Thank you so much, Toby. I'm very excited to be here with you today. I like your energy.
Thank you so much. I'm super excited to be speaking with you because you are talking about something that's very, very important to us, to our lives, which is mindset. You're a mindset coach. And that's something that's, once we're able to change our mindset or work on our mindset, we're able to change our lives. So now I'm super excited to just learn so much about mindset from you and see how much I could improve my life before the end of this episode or by the end of this episode. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm super excited. Yeah.
Yes. So why don't we just kick off with, we getting to know you, like who is Grace Bean? Like, can you share your story with us?
Yeah, so as you said, I'm a certified mindset coach, and I got into mindset because my life was not going so well, right? So at some point I was stuck in like very bad toxic relationships. I wasn't feeling fulfilled in my work. And at some point I hit rock bottom and I was like, what's going wrong in my life? Like, I'm so young and like everything keeps going wrong for me. So like, what's happening here? And I started learning about mindset and the power of our thoughts. And I was really intrigued by this subject. And at first, I was a bit skeptical about it because I was learning that mindset, which is basically our set of beliefs and attitudes toward life, have a direct impact on the kind of reality that we have. So before I was perceiving myself as a victim in my story, as like everything was happening bad to me. But then when I started learning about mindset, I started realizing that everything was a reflection of what I believed in my head. Yeah. And just as your podcast says, it was like the reality is like our mirror. And at first I was a bit skeptical about it. I was like, how is it possible that just by changing your thoughts, your thinking patterns and your beliefs and doing all these techniques and visualization and mindset work, you in your head, and you're just going to change what's happening outside of you. I was like, how is this possible? So I was like, okay, I'm going to start experimenting with this to test it and see if it's true. And I started changing how I spoke to myself. I started changing the beliefs that I had about myself and my capabilities. And so, for example, I thought that I couldn't write, right? Like before, I thought that I was bad in writing.
Yeah.
And I started questioning this belief. Where does it come from? And I started learning how to write and improving my skills. A few years later, I just finished my book. I'm going to get it published. I have a blog with 50 blogs, and I publish content in different publications. So you can see how I was able to shift and change my life, and I've entered into a completely different reality just by working on my mindset.
Yeah.
And now I've dedicated my life basically to help people identify their beliefs so they can do the same and create amazing lives for themselves.
Wow, that's so beautiful. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for, using your story, your the lessons you've learned out of life to also help other people out there to become better people so that they won't make, similar mistakes or, they could have a better life, basically. Yeah. That's so awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
That's beautiful. Yes. So how would you say you were able to then improve the relationship that you had with yourself? Like from back then when, when your thoughts were reflecting, into your reality and were bad, and up until now, how are you able to work on your relationship with yourself?
Yeah, it was an interesting process, and it takes time. And I feel like we're always a work in progress, right? So it's not that I feel like I've stopped working on the relationship with myself. I feel like I'm always working to become a better version of myself. So I continue learning and improving. But it all started when I started becoming more mindful. And I started practicing meditation. So before I was like not even aware of how I spoke to myself. And when I started to meditate and take a step back to become more mindful of the kind of conversations that I was having with myself, you start realizing how harsh you can be sometimes with yourself. And I think everyone has this inner critic in your head. For example, let's say you made a mistake, and in your head, you're telling yourself, oh, how stupid, like, you see, you failed. You knew you're not good at this. And if you don't pay attention to these kinds of conversations that you're having with yourself, you are holding yourself back from improving, from changing, and from becoming a better person, a better version of yourself. And that's what I realized that I was doing. I had like low self-esteem. I didn't believe and trust in myself and in my capabilities. And I started shifting how I spoke to myself. And I started dating myself. I used to take myself out on dates.
That's good. That's wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
I used to take myself out on coffee dates, dinner dates, and I learned how to fall in love with myself and enjoy my own company. That's how I improved the relationship with myself.
Oh, that's beautiful. I mean, just doing beautiful things for yourself, like wonderful things for yourself, not expecting an external body to do that to you. You do it for yourself because you love it, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, and I wasn't like that. Like I mentioned that I had like very bad and toxic relationships, and when you have like low self-esteem and when you don't know your self-worth, if you're going to encounter a person who belittles you and tells you all sorts of bad things about yourself, and your subconscious believes these bad things, you're not going to be strong enough to fight them because you believe them. So you feel even more powerless, which was what happened to me. And then when I started changing how I felt about myself, and that's where I said I started dating myself. This particular person, when he was telling me all these kinds of things, I didn't believe them anymore. So I took my power back, and I was like, what are you talking about? You know, I don't need this kind of toxicity in my life.
Yeah.
I know what I'm worth. So thank you, bye, you know?
Yeah, that's true. What I'm understanding right now is, once we're able to discover our values in life, once we're able to discover who we are truly in life, then we are able to get rid of toxic relationships. We're able to build up our self-esteem, and anything that is toxic in our lives, we're able to easily let go of it or get rid of it. We won't believe the lies basically that other people feed us with or try to feed us with. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's so important, what you're saying, knowing who you are and knowing your values. Because if you don't have a solid foundation and a good understanding of who you are, then you're just going to be easily influenced and manipulated, and you're just carried away with whatever lives bring with it. But as you said, if you know who you are and you know your values, it's going to be very difficult to shake you up.
That's true. That's very true. So, Grace, if someone approaches you and says, Grace, please, I need help. How can I discover who I am? How can I know my values? How can I, build up my self-esteem? How would you advise such a person?
Yeah, so to know your values, you have to learn how to pay attention and listen to what feels right for you, what feels good for you. And our emotions are powerful indicators of what is true for us and what we hold dear to us. So, for example, if someone advises you to do something or to live in a certain way, and you feel like this inner resistance or inner conflict, but you feel scared to say no or to share your thoughts and your opinion, and to please other people, you agree to that certain kind of lifestyle, for example. That's going to show you because you feel bad about it. And so that's an indication that you are not living aligned with what you believe and what you hold dear to you. Even if you're working in a company environment, for example, and you value the environment, right? Taking care of the planet is important for you. And you're working with a company that doesn't care about the environment. It continuously pollutes Mother Nature, and you feel like there is a conflict. You're not happy with this environment that you're working in. So then you have a choice. Either you listen to what you're feeling, and as I said, our emotions are strong indicators to show you that something's wrong here. You're not happy. You're feeling frustrated. You're not in your right environment. So paying attention to your emotions is very important. Also, I think a very important exercise, which I like doing, is journaling.
Okay.
So you write down. You write down what's important for you. What would you like to contribute to in the world? What do you care about? Do you value family? Do you value career? Do you value self-development? And there's no right or wrong answers. It's a matter of being true to yourself, true to who you are, not doing what other people expect from you or what you think would look nice in front of others.
Yeah, that's true. That's very important. Yeah, but it's very difficult nowadays because we tend to want to fit into the society. Our friends want to feel among, and whenever we have these kind of feelings or emotions that makes us feel like misfits. Basically, we tend to let go of these emotions and feelings and say, "Yeah, I have to fit into the to the crowd." Basically.
Yeah, that's so true, especially as you said in this kind of era that we're living in, and we have social media that's influencing us all the time, and it makes it just even more difficult for you to allow yourself to be who you really are and to understand that, because sometimes we don't even realize that we're trying to fit in, and it's like you're rejecting who you really are. It's like you're telling yourself that by allowing yourself to be authentic, it's dangerous, it's going to be rejected. So you try to be like other people. And I've had this experience even in my work, for example. I started creating videos. And I was new to this, right? I'm very good in writing, and videos, I just started experimenting with them. And I felt like in my content, in my videos, I was trying to show up like other coaches and like other influencers. And when I looked at the videos, I deleted them because I was feeling like I was being fake, like it's not me. And I was like, but what's happening here? Because I like the videos when other people are doing them. But when I was making them, I was feeling like I'm trying to be someone else. And I wasn't even realizing how I was being influenced by other people. So it's very, very difficult. It can be challenging to go within yourself and allow your authentic self to emerge. It can be very tricky.
Yeah, I mean, I can totally relate to what you just said right now with, creating content. Like, there are people that you admire, you love their work, and all of a sudden you find yourself doing things exactly like they are doing it also. But then you reflect on what you've done and you're like, no, this is not me. This is not who I am.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah. But I like that also because what you just said made me reflect on it, that we are supposed to discover who we are. We're supposed to silence the noise around us, basically. Like, absorb what you can, learn from everybody as much as you can, then just shut off everything, then build up on yourself and for who you are, basically, and know who you are, basically, too, in the process.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, in fact, I did that a bit. I went on a cleanse from social media. to allow myself to like take whatever I needed to take and learn from these people, but I needed to find a way how to represent myself authentically,
Yes.
right? So as you
Yeah.
said, you silence the external influences and you find your answers within yourself.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. So now that we found our true values, we know who we are. How can we now live a life that is, aligned to our true values, that is aligned to who we truly are?
Yeah, so once you start understanding yourself at a deeper level and you're discovering your values and what you really want to do with your life, with your time, it's going to be scary at first because you're not following the norm, you're following your own path, and that requires you to be brave.
Yes.
Because to fit in, it's easy to imitate others, but to really allow yourself to and your heart to lead you, sometimes it can be very scary and challenging. And trusting in yourself and even in a higher power, in the universe, in source, in God, call it whatever you want, but understanding that you came here for a reason, you have a purpose.
Yeah.
And whatever it is, whether it's creating music, creating art, creating a family, you have a purpose in your life. You came here to create something beautiful. And your values will help you align on your path. So by following what is true to your heart. And we're talking about mindset today, right?
Yes.
So learning how to cultivate an abundant mindset is really a powerful tool that will help you create a meaningful life, take the risks that you need to take, challenge yourself to get out of your comfort zone, get a bit uncomfortable, but that is going to be so rewarding afterwards. And I just finished a course recently. I launched a course as well about how to develop an abundance mindset course. And in it, I put everything that I've done in my life and all these powerful tools that I've learned from inspirational teachers that helped me and that help my clients to change their mindset from a scarcity mindset to an abundant mindset. So they learn how to create a meaningful life, a fulfilling life, because that's what we're here to do, to have fun and enjoy life after all.
Yes. Can you share some of these, things that you share in your course or you taught in your course? How can we build up an abundant mindset, or how can we develop an abundant mindset, and what are the tools that we need to ensure that this happens?
Yeah, so first you understand what mindset is, and you start taking, I speak about 4 important steps of how you can start changing your mindset. And self-talk is one of these important tools that we talked about today, that you start changing how you speak to yourself. And this makes the whole difference. Even if you look at successful people, I was looking at Sarah Blakely. She's a self-made entrepreneur. She's a billionaire. And I was watching her masterclass, and I've learned so much from her. And she said something that I could really resonate with when she said that she also had these kinds of conversations with herself, like doubting herself when she was launching her business. And she just learned how to not pay attention to that voice and continue with her journey. So to put things into perspective, let's say there are 2 people who want to launch a business, for example, okay? And you have a person A who has a bit of a negative outlook on life, and he believes that he's bound to fail, but he had this dream to launch a business, okay? And he launches the business. And things doesn't go his way, and he sees that he's failing, and this inner critic in his head is telling him, you see, you were right, you're not getting this right. And he just loses his faith and stops.
Yeah.
Okay? Then there's person B, who has a positive outlook on life. And these people have the same kind of skills, right, when it comes to business.
Yeah.
But he launched his business and he's still not seeing any results. Person B. Person B starts talking to himself and he's like, but what am I doing wrong here? What can I learn from this situation? How can I improve my product, my service, my strategy, my marketing skills? He reassesses the situation. He improves his product and his services, and he launches a successful business, and he keeps growing. So what was the difference in these people? It was just how they speak to themselves.
Yes.
It makes sense?
It makes sense, yeah, total sense.
Yeah, and apart from that, I speak about how everything in the universe is energy. So we all have a vibrational frequency, and by learning how to master that energy, you start attracting the right opportunities into your life.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Wow. So where can we get this course from? Like, I mean, I'm interested, and maybe there are other listeners out there that want to do this course also. Where can we, have access to that?
Yeah, you can visit my website, grace-being.com, and you go on courses. You'll see it at on the menu. It's called Abundance Mindset course. There's all the modules there explained. And I think it's amazing. Like, it really helped me manifest my dreams, literally. I am a digital nomad now, traveling around the world with my amazing partner. And if you had to tell me that I would be living this life a few years ago, I would have laughed in disbelief. I would have been like, this is not possible.
Yeah. Well, I'm so happy for you. And I'm going to put this link in the show note of this episode. And I'll encourage everyone who is listening so far to visit the website, do the course. Even if you don't want to do the course, first explore the website. There are a lot of wonderful information for you to read also on the website.
Yes,
grace-being.com.
Yes.
Yes. I'm so sorry. You want to say something?
I said there are blogs as well, which they can read with some amazing information, which is for free. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yes. So I encourage everyone to read that. And, now that you're digital nomadic, you said, right? Like you travel a lot. What inspired you to do this?
Yeah, so I always had this wanderlust, and I come from a very small island in the Mediterranean in Europe, and I was very curious to explore different places and different cultures, and I really like to connect with people and see how they're living, because it really opens your perspectives when you get out of your little world that you're living in, and you see how people are doing things differently across different parts of the world. Then you start realizing, and it opens up your mind, and you're like, oh, maybe my way is not the best way to do things. And you learn so much, and planet Earth is so beautiful, filled with amazing places to see, amazing food, beautiful people. I've been to Argentina. I've been living 6 months in Indonesia, in Mali. Now I'm in Europe. Wow. Yeah, I love it.
Well, I mean, that's so interesting. I would love to do something like that also. I believe it broadens your mind, basically. It makes you think better, or and to think differently in some ways.
Yeah, it broadens your perspective, totally.
Yeah. So, there's something I found on your website. We've talked about mindset so far. And you wrote something on your website that, when we change our mindset, we're able to change our life. And I got to understand that, once we have that abundance mindset, everything begins to work for us in terms of abundance also. So, but can you explain in much details to us how our mindset is connected to our reality also?
Yeah, that's a very good question, Toby. Thank you for asking that. So your mindset is your mental program, right? So it's linked to your beliefs and your attitude towards life and towards different situations. And your program that's running in your head, it dictates and it determines what kind of choices you will make and how you respond to situations. So what we've learned through life, what I've learned, is that you have no control over what's happening in your external environment. But what you do have control over is how you will respond to them. So when you learn how to master your mind and choose how to consciously respond to situations, and you do not allow challenges to make you give up or act impulsively, because you'll end up regretting it later on in life. So you master your mindset, and even if you do a mistake, even if you fail in something, there's always room for learning and improvement. And when you adapt this kind of mindset, this abundant, this growth mindset that we're talking about, is really when you will be able to move mountains. You become unstoppable. Because let's say, for example, when you were a kid in school, you failed in a subject, okay? And you start telling yourself, you start believing that you're really bad at math, for example. You're stuck in mathematics, you're really bad, you can't get it, okay? You have a choice. Now, when you're a kid, you're not mindful about this, you're not aware, so you're just going with the flow and what the environment is giving you. If you make a choice to believe that you're really bad at math, you're going to be really bad at math. Not like magic. You're not going to magically become good at mathematics. That's because that's what you believe. But if you start telling yourself, you know what, I want to be an accountant. I don't care that I fail this test, because no matter what it takes, I will be good in mathematics. I need tutoring, private lessons, whatever I need, I will make it happen. What do you think will happen? You will be good.
You'll pass mathematics. Yes.
And that's why the program is change your mind, change your life.
Wow. And I like some tools that we also need to be able to master our mindset. Because sometimes it could be a struggle. It could be a struggle to actually change our belief or shift our thoughts. And it's very wonderful and beautiful to say, but in the reality, it could be a very, very big challenge for us to do. So I like some tools that we could use to make that happen.
It is challenging. Yes, it is challenging. And having someone supporting you along the way will definitely help you throughout the process. But you can always start by first becoming aware of these kinds of beliefs that you have about yourself or about the world. And mostly these are manifesting in generalizations, right? These kinds of statements that I'm talking about, like, I am really bad at... You start taking that statement that you just made about yourself and you question it. And this is what I would like to invite the people who are listening to do. Be curious. Be curious about these kinds of beliefs. Try to identify the first time that you started buying into this belief, that you started believing it. Did it really come from you? Or is it someone else's voice? Maybe your parents or someone at school. And you start really questioning this belief and asking yourself, did I try? Did I fail? What did I do about it? Did I try hard enough? How is this true? Is it true for everyone else in the world? Is it true 100% of the time? What if I tried to approach this situation in a different way? Will I still get the same answer and stick to this belief? Or perhaps I could get a different answer, a different outcome. So inviting mindfulness and being curious about the beliefs and the stories that we are telling ourselves is literally the way to start challenging those beliefs. And you make space for new ones to come in.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's a wonderful, Grace. Yeah. And I think you also come into play, right? As a mindset coach, you also help people to go on this journey of becoming better in their mindset and also working on their mindset too, right?
Yes, exactly. So in my 12 weeks Change Your Mind, Change Your Life program, first I start by getting to know people a bit so I can understand where they're coming from. And we start getting into the kind of beliefs that they have about themselves, about the world, where they would like to be, what kind of things they're not happy with in their life, what they would like to change. And you start realizing that your reality is shaped and it's entirely linked to the beliefs that you hold in your subconscious mind. Sometimes it can be a bit difficult for us to become aware of these beliefs because we are unconscious of them. But through certain mindset techniques, neuro-linguistic programming, we can start identifying these beliefs, and then we start questioning them, challenging them, and then you can start changing them. So you can choose whatever you want to believe in. Of course, not denying the laws of physics. I'm saying these kinds of beliefs, like these generalizations, right? If you tell me I want to start flying, I'm not going to tell you that you can fly. It's within the possible capabilities of a human being, right? But whatever seems to be unachievable to you in your mind is because of your current map of the world. And when you start changing your map, you're going to end up in a different destination.
True. Okay. So once something's not working for us, we are supposed to change the map of the world that we have in our head, basically. Then we're able to achieve what we want to achieve.
Absolutely. Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, good. Oh, that's good. Earlier you talked a little bit about emotions, and I really want us to, touch emotion a little bit, and in terms of emotional intelligence. Like, can you explain emotional intelligence to us, and how is it connected to our mindset also, and why is it so important to have emotional intelligence?
Yes. So that's a very good question again, Toby. Thank you for asking. Emotional intelligence is very, very powerful tool. And sometimes we can overlook how powerful it can be. So emotional intelligence is like, it can be measured. It's called like the emotional quotient. So the same way we measure our cognitive abilities with the IQ, intelligent quotient, they found that we can measure our emotional intelligence. So emotional intelligence is tied to self-awareness. So how aware are you of your thinking patterns and how you're reacting to things? And it's about managing your emotions, learning how to manage yourself. So it's all about self-mastery as well. And that's why it's so important and linked with mindset. Because to change your mindset, you need to be able to have the self-knowledge. So you understand what you need to change, and self-control. So you are not reacting impulsively, but you are responding consciously. So you can choose how to respond to situations, to challenges. And it also revolves around motivation. So learning how we motivate ourselves. And you need motivation, especially if you're setting goals in life. You need to learn how to motivate yourself, because you're not going to wake up every day with the same amount of energy or with the same amount of fire and passion, but you need to find ways how to motivate yourself, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yes. That's
So
true.
working on your emotional intelligence will really help you to master yourself and start working with your mindset.
Mm. Ah, okay. So that means we need to, have a lot of things under check, basically. Our emotions have to be under check, and we have to be able to control our emotions also, and, be able to master it properly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because emotions are very powerful, right? If you think about it, if you take a step back, and even if you're having an argument with someone, you're having a conversation, and it gets heated up, and perhaps you say things that you regretted later on. This can happen at work, in a personal relationship, and then you end up feeling bad about it. You might end up burning bridges with people, important people in your life. And cultivating this emotional intelligence will ultimately improve your relationships with yourself and with others. So it will also improve your social skills, which are very
Yeah.
important in our life.
That's true. Okay. Improve your social skill through working on your emotional intelligence. I like that. I'm taking that home with me.
Yeah, this will definitely help you.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially
Yeah.
even if you're into leadership or even networking and sustaining your relationships. Emotional intelligence can get you places. Like, even sometimes you have employees, and I used to see this a lot in my previous work in corporate companies. You have two people. One of them is a genius, but her communication skills are not very strong, so she keeps everything closed inside of her, and she doesn't know how to represent herself. Then you have another person who sits for the interview, and she's smart, she's eligible for the job, but she is more about how she's representing herself and her communication skills and how she interacts in the conversation and the emotion that she is able to instigate to in the person that she's speaking with. And we're human beings, right? Our emotions control us as well, and our decisions, they have power over our decision.
Yeah.
And you don't even
That's
realize
true.
that you feel like you like this person more. You think she's going to do a better job. Doesn't mean that she is smarter than the other one, but it's the way how she represented herself, how confident she was, and it really makes a difference who's going to be promoted at work as well, for example. And if you see political
Yeah.
leaders, they're very emotional intelligent, they're very good speakers, and this makes a very big difference.
Yeah, that's true. Wow, wow. So, Grace, I have a question, not related to emotions, but in life generally, we've been talking about improving ourselves, becoming better people, through our emotional intelligence, through working on our mindsets. All of this is, towards becoming better people, like developing ourselves personally. But in journey of life, we face a lot of circumstances, a lot of challenges, and this, builds up fear in us. Like, oh, will I be able to do this? Will I be able to improve my life? Will I be able to get that promotion if I work on my emotional intelligence? Like, can you educate me a little bit on how to deal with fear, and how can I transform my fear into faith, for example?
Yeah, okay, that's a very interesting question. So, yeah, everyone experiences fear, right? It's a human emotion, part of the human experience, and we all experience fear at some point in our life. Now, even as we're saying, mastering your emotions and mastering your mindset will help you so you don't give in to fear. And sometimes, most of the time, the fear inflates the situation in our head. And we tend to get stuck thinking about the worst case scenarios and speculating about the future, when in reality, that scenario might never happen. And you're just getting stuck in your mind thinking about speculative future, holding you back from reaching your dreams. And it's just an illusion. When you learn how to cultivate faith, and you can have faith in yourself or in something bigger than you. So whatever works for you, I find that I have faith in source, in the universe, in something bigger than me. And it really gives me strength and courage to take risks, and going within myself, finding that moment of silence allows me to tune into my intuition and feel guided by a higher source. I feel guided by the universe. And I have to say that if I didn't cultivate my faith and I didn't learn how to listen to my intuition, I wouldn't have been able to reach my dreams and manifest and do what I'm doing, because I would have been held back by fear and by that inner critic in my head telling me, you're not good enough, you're never going to make it, you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, that's true. I like what you just said about, having faith in something bigger, like in God, for example. Like we can't do everything on our own. Like we have that ambition, that vision to become better in life, but we need a pillar to hold on to, and that's the universe, that's God, that's a greater entity than us that can guide us, that can, shine light on our path for us to see what's the right paths to go on, in order to become better people in our careers, in our relationships, in our lives, basically.
Yeah. I'm so happy that you resonate with what I'm saying. And it's true, it does shine the light on your path. You just need to listen and be brave enough to follow the light.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, that's one. That's another topic also. Being able to be bold or brave enough to take that step is always that's a big topic on its own. I don't know if you have some tips on that.
We'll do another episode.
Yeah. And the episode, yes, yeah, it's just like, yes, just do it, just go and be bold and brave. Yeah. Well, so yes, so if there's someone, I mean, for someone out there, for example, who is maybe in a toxic relationship right now, low self-esteem, like you were like years ago, like how would you advise that person right now? What would you tell that person to do right now to become who you are today, or to be out of that toxic relationship?
Yeah.
For a start.
So the first thing is to take a step back and to realize the beauty that you have within you. You need to start cleansing yourself from the toxicity that's in your life. So if you're trying to build your self-esteem and you're still stuck with people who make you feel bad about yourself, they're going to make it very difficult for you to pick yourself up and see the beauty within you, because they're painting a very ugly picture. So what you need to do is not to believe everything that your mind tells you, and especially if people are telling you bad things about yourself, is to go within yourself to find your truth. And not to be scared. I was always so scared to look within myself, and I was always focusing on other people, trying to fix and help others, and avoiding spending time alone, avoiding being with myself. And then when I started dating myself and spending time with myself and learning how to enjoy my own company, I found out that it was the best thing and decision that I could have ever done for myself. And what you're fearing the most is literally exactly what you need to face so you can overcome that and realize it was just an illusion.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. Wow. Grace, thank you so much. I've learned so much from you, from this episode about mindset, about emotional intelligence, a lot of things already. But I mean, I'm sure there are people out there who still want to know more about you, who still want to maybe ask more questions. What's the best way to connect and work with you?
Yeah, you can find me on social media, or you can contact me through email on contact@grace-being.com.
Awesome. I'm going to provide all of this information in the show notes of this episode. So I encourage everyone to just get across to Grace, or just, start with the website, Grace grace-bean.com and do the course or just read through the blog posts. It's so awesome, so wonderful. Thank you so much, Grace, for being here today. I really appreciate your presence here.
Thank you, Toby. I really enjoyed speaking with you. It was amazing.